welcome to class today. And we're going to be focusing on a release for the head, the neck and the shoulders, and a little bit for the upper back as well. We're going to start with some really nice breathing, and it's going to be quite a gentle class, so really good to do maybe on a morning to wake ourselves up, or on an evening to help us relax, or any part of the day where we feel we just need a little bit of time, a little bit of me time. So as always, let's look after our bodies, and if something doesn't feel kind to our body, make sure that we do something that does, and come back to anything that you feel you need to. So we might need a few props today. I've got a few pillows with me. I've also got my blocks behind me if I need. So just have some pillows, blocks, or towels around you, because we're going to need them just to stack our body to make it comfortable. So let's make our way down. I'm going to pop my pillows to the side, and whatever props you do have, just make sure that they're handy, okay? So making your way down, either coming down with your roll down or with your log roll. So I'll show you the log roll. The log roll would be coming down through side laying and then rolling on to your back. Okay, so starting in our supine position, let's just set our heels so they're in line with our sitting bones, our knees, so they're the same distance as our feet. And then just checking that your pelvis is in a comfortable position for us. Okay, so we're not feeling that we're overarching the back, we're not feeling that we're sinking the lower back down, we're somewhere where we feel the back of the pelvis heavy and the lower back light. That may mean that we are in our neutral pelvis position, it may mean that we're not quite, and that's okay at the moment. And then just checking that the neck and the head are in a comfortable place. So feel free, if you feel that the back of the neck is tight and we can't bring the back ribs down, feel free to pop a pillow, a cushion or your towel underneath your head. And I'm going to do that today, that feels quite nice. And we're just going to let our arms rest at the side of the mat. And feel free to close your eyes for this. And I just want you to have an awareness of your breathing as we breathe in and out. Notice how the rib cage expands, the belly may expand as well. And how the rib cage and the belly narrow on your out breath. So just like the breathing that we do in our Pilates, and if you're not familiar to belly breathing, check out the breathing class that I've done previously. So just natural breath at the moment, but what we want to feel is that we're trying to bring lots of oxygen in and expelling all the carbon dioxide out. So maybe noticing if your in-breath is shorter than your out-breath. And as we're breathing, I want you to feel how the points of contact in the floor start to deepen. So the feet, the pelvis, the rib cage, the arms, the shoulders, the back of the head. And notice how your body feels. So if we've got any places where we're gripping, we've got any places that may feel that they're holding tension, tight areas. Maybe we feel that we're heavier on one side, the rib cage or the pelvis, than the other. And just check into that. So we're just observing, we don't want to change these things, we're just observing and just checking in. So just take one more scan as you breathe in. Start from your head, down to your neck, your shoulders, your arms. Noticing how your spine feels and how it lays on the floor. Your pelvis, how the hip joints feeling, the knees and the feet. And we're just going to start with some head movement. So on your next in-breath, I'd like you to let your chin lift up to the ceiling. Your head's going to tip back from the neck, just to where it feels comfortable, so we're not forcing it to happen. And on your out breath, we're going to nod the chin towards the chest. Now on this one, what we want to feel is that the breast of the body is just relaxed. If something wants to move because our head is moving, just allow that to happen. And this is where I get a funky hairstyle at the end of it, because my hair is going to be all over, it's going to be moved. So we want to ignore that. Try not to be conscious of your hair moving around, because we want to feel that we're just moving our head and mobilizing through the neck. So we're going to continue with this, but when we drop our chin down, I'd like to pause a moment. I'd like you to start to let your eye gaze look up. Then we're going to let the head and the neck follow. Look down, let your head and neck follow. So we're continuing our head nod, our chin nod, but we're using our eye gaze this time as well. And I want you to start to feel how the rib cage moves in conjunction with the head and the neck now. So as the head drops back, notice how the back ribs drop into the floor. It's almost as if the shoulders want to roll forwards a little bit. And then as the chin drops with the eye gaze, the chest wants to reach up to the ceiling, the shoulders roll back to the mat. And if, without forcing it, if it does want to lift, if the rib cage wants to lift, then that's fine. The shoulders want to lift, that's also fine. And we're going to take this movement then, maybe down into the pelvis. So notice when the head tips back, the pelvis tips towards you. And as the chin nods, the head drops down, the pelvis tips forwards. And again, we're just allowing these movements to happen. The chest is still dropping as we look up, as the pelvis tips back. And as we look down, the chest is still slightly lifting, pelvis tipping forward. So we get this almost rippling movement throughout the whole spine because we're moving the head. So we're just going to do one more each way, trying to keep that freedom in the movement and trying to just notice, can we still keep the back of the body heavy in the floor? So when the chin nods down this time, let the head rest in the center of those two movements. Just notice how the ribcage and the pelvis also rest in the center of the movements that they were just doing. We're going to now rotate our head. So on your next in-breath, rotate your head to one side. Exhale back to center, and then inhale to the opposite side. Now if you've got any tightness in the movement that we're doing, I want you to just make sure that you're not pushing your limbs, the part of the body that we're moving, because we are going to be moving the rest of the body. We're making sure that we're just moving gently. And if our range increases as we move, that's great. Now let's go with the eyes. The eyes turn there and the head and the neck. The eyes turn there and the head and the neck. And we're just going to do 4 more of these. Now I'm starting to feel how I'm tensing up my shoulders, my upper back. Can you let go if you've got any tension? And are you still breathing as you're moving? This is the last one to each side. And then coming back to center. Okay, we're going to start to imagine that our nose has a pencil on it. And we're going to draw some circles with our nose. So we're going to let the head tip back. We're going to go to the right first. So you're going to draw your circle to the right. You're going to go down towards your chest, over to the left, and then back up. We're just going to do 2 more in this direction. Can you keep your head heavy into your pillow, your cushion, your towel, your block? And then bring your nose back to the centre of that circle. We're going to go the other way. So head tips back, go to the left, down, around and up. I'm really trying to let go of my shoulders, feel my neck nice and heavy and released. Same with my head. And last one. And releasing back to center. Okay, from here, we're going to start to come into a bridge. So whatever you have underneath your head, we're just going to pop that to the side. And we're going to bring our arms back to the mat. Now as we come up into a bridge, I just want you to come up. I want you to roll if that feels good. I want you to come up in neutral if that feels better. We're just going up and we're just coming back down. So if the spine wants to roll, let it do it. We want to feel that we're trying not to tense up the spine, but we're using the muscles to help us move. So the abdominal muscles, gently, the glutes and the hamstrings to lift the pelvis up. Now each time that the spine comes back down, notice how the crown of the head lifts up to the top of your mat and how the tailbone drops down to the bottom of your mat. Now this is our last one, and we're going to add on some arm movement. This may be familiar if you've done some of my previous classes. We're going to do an arm arc. So we're going to take an in-breath, slide the arms down the mat, and as you exhale, roll up through your spine or lift the spine and lift the arms at the same time. Inhale and pause at the top. We're going to lift the arms. And then exhale, roll down. Feel the spine melting into the floor. And the pelvis comes back to the mat as the arms lower. Okay, and again, so inhale, slide, exhale, lift. Inhale, float the arms up, and then exhale, roll down. So I'm almost trying to feel how the back of my body sinks. And it sinks into the floor because I'm letting go and using gravity to do that. Okay, this time we go up. Same thing, but this time if you can, you're going to leave your arms on the floor. Find a place where your arms can relax. Your elbows may be bent. You want to make sure that the shoulders are away from your ears, and then we're going to roll down. So bring in and melting the rib cage area of the spine back down. The lower back, pelvis. You may be coming down in neutral, and that's okay. Last one, inhale, exhale, reach, roll up or lift up. Inhale to hold, and then exhale, melt. Let go. There may be a little bit of rolling. And as the spine comes back down, release the arms. And we're going to come into a side lying position now. So here's where you may need your extra pillows. I'm going to prop them underneath my head. And I'm just going to have my knees bent into a comfortable position. My underneath arm wants to be straight. So you may need more props than usual in your Pilates because we want to make sure that the shoulders are stacked and we've not got pressure, or we're not feeling that this shoulder is lifting up towards the ear. Yeah, and then this top hand is going to rest on the underneath hand. Eye gaze forwards, and we want to stack the pelvis, the knees and the shoulders as best we can. And we're just going to start by lifting the elbow up and then lowering the elbow down. Now as the arm moves up and down, you'll notice how the shoulder blade and the shoulder joint starts to lift and lower. And that's happening because we're just relaxing into the movement. We're just allowing the body to move. Okay. So this is going to loosen up the shoulder joint. Also start to mobilize some of the ribs and the thoracic spine. And we're just going to do this a little bit quicker for 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, start to move forwards this time. So reaching the elbow forward and then reaching the elbow back, almost drawing it into the shoulder socket. And you notice how the shoulder blade slides away from the spine as the elbow reaches forwards, and maybe how it draws closer to the spine as the elbow draws back. And if you ever need to adjust your body, feel free. And you can go as slow as you like here, or maybe speed it up just like we did before. How much can you let go? How much can you surrender? Now with this, as we go forwards, let's make a circle. So we go around and again. So just exploring how you're breathing. And reverse. So if you're doing this at home, you can do as many reps as you feel you need to. As many that you need to that you feel relaxed as you're doing it and you're letting go. Now complete this next circle and then reach this arm all the way up. Okay, we're going to start to spiral the upper arm bone inwards. And we're going to turn the upper arm bone outwards. So it's as if we're trying to turn the bicep down towards our feet and then turn the bicep to face the wall behind. And just notice what happens to your shoulder joint. It rolls forward and back. And maybe the rib cage is moving as well. Maybe not. Can you keep the arm underneath the arm relaxed, the head, neck and shoulders? And just one more. And last one. Now bring this hand to your forehead now. We're going to start to do a modified book opening. So we're going to start by reaching the elbow forwards and then drawing the elbow back. And again, so forward and back. Now we've got our hand on our forehead so that this movement is bringing along our head and neck and our shoulders. So at the moment I'd just like you to go back to a place where you're not allowing your pelvis to move. Maybe moving slightly. And last one. And you can stay with this if this is enough. Or extend the top arm along the bottom arm. Slide it forwards. Then open all the way to the back. Now here's where the pelvis may move and that's okay. And then lift and release. Now as we're doing this, we're still breathing naturally and I want you to make sure that when the arm opens, the arm isn't going behind the shoulder joint. The arm is moving and giving us a guide to move our chest and our rib cage. So we're trying to turn the chest bone as far in the direction of the fingertips as we possibly can. And we're just going to do one more. And then release. Now rolling onto your back again. If what you've got underneath your head's too much, you can let go of it. And then just rest your body. Maybe close your eyes. And just check in, is there a difference now down the side of your body that we've just worked? So mine was my left shoulder and arm that I moved. Do you feel a difference on that side? And the answer may be no. And that may be because maybe we need a little bit more work on that. So a few more repetitions, spend a little bit more time, or do this more regularly. Okay, and we're going to do the other side. So I'm going to lift up. You can roll just straight onto the other side. Bring your props with you. And then same setup. So underneath, arm reaches forwards. Top hand on top of the bottom arm. Knees stacked, pelvis stacked. Just check that your shoulders feel comfortable. And then start to lift and then lower. So I feel that I've started to tense up again. So noticing in your body what is happening. Can you let go? Are you breathing and moving? Because the breath is going to help relax the body. And then a little bit quicker if we can. What happens to the rib cage as you move in, the shoulder? And then when you're ready, we're going to start to go forward and back. So reaching forward with the elbow and then back. noticing what happens to the shoulder, then what we focus on is where our attention goes in our body. So if it's the shoulder blade, we're going to notice the shoulder blade moving more. And as that happens, you're going to notice how the rib cage moves. So everything's attached, everything is going to move because of something else moving, just like when we moved the head, the rib cage and the thoracic spine moved, as well as the pelvis. And then start to make your circles, so going one way, either way, because we're going to do both. And just making them as big or as small as you need. So if we've got any discomfort in any of the movements that we do, we want to just make sure that we're easing off a little bit here. And then changing direction. So the hand is on the arm, just that we've got almost a movement point, a pivot point. Okay, last one. And then reach the top arm up to the ceiling. Start to rotate the arm in and out. So what will happen is we're trying to think of the bicep turning in and out. The forearm's going to rotate at the same time, which is going to turn the hand, the palm. But I want you to focus on what's happening closer to the shoulder joint and closer to the spine. Was there a difference on the other side to this side? Is this easier to move? Does it feel more restricted? And just like at the start, we're just observing. Now just one more each way. And then hand to forehead. So a modified book opening, the elbow comes forwards and then back. Just going to where we can without moving the pelvis. Breathe in. Try not to create tension in the hip joints here because my underneath leg wants to press down into the floor. Can you let it go? So you may feel how the weight comes off the knees. That's okay. Maybe going further each time that you do this. And then reach the top arm forwards if you can. Start to slide on your in-breath and then exhale, open. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Now if you feel that focusing on the breathing then restricts the movement, I just want you to breathe naturally. I've got a few obstacles here today, so make sure that you've got space to do this. Is what you want to make sure is that you're allowing the movement to happen as it wants to. And we're just going to do one more. And then as we come back in, we're just going to take that moment to roll onto our back again. And just letting your arms rest, your pelvis rest. How does your body feel now? Does it feel more even? Maybe if we've got a tighter side, we still may feel a difference from one side to the other. So a good idea would be to do the tighter side again. Okay, now we're going to remove what we have from behind the head. And if you need, you can pop something smaller underneath your head than what we just had. And we're just going to bring our arms back to the mat. Now we moved our head at the beginning up and down. Now I want you to imagine that we're going to think of going down straight into the floor without changing the space between the chin and the chest. So visualize where the back of the skull meets the ground. And I want you to imagine that you're going to try and press that part of your skull further down into your mat to create a deeper imprint. So breathe in to prepare. And as you breathe out, press the back of your skull very gently into the floor. As you inhale, release it. We're going to do that 3 more times. So we exhale, press. And you're not going to be able to see me doing anything.
but it's a sense of exhaling and dropping down with the back of the skull. So notice that my chin isn't dropping to my chest. It's as if I'm trying to slide the back of my skull back into the floor, or downwards into the floor. And we're going to do that one more time. And now we're just going to tilt our head to one side. So I'm going to my left first. So I've just very gently tipped to the left. And I'm going to try and drop or press the part of the skull that I've got down into the mat now. And release. Just 2 more. And release, and 1 more. And we're going to do the same to the other side. So rotate the head. Find the right side of the skull, or the right side of the back of the skull, and then press down. Now, if this is too much, or the pressure that you're giving yourself is too much, ease off. If you want more, go for more. And then come back to center. Now what we're going to do is interlace the hands and take behind the skull. And we're just going to hover our head by lifting our hands. The head is really heavy. And I just want you to start to move your hands and move your head. But the head's only moving because we're moving the hands. So in any direction. Really hard to keep the heaviness of your head. So if you need to reset, do it. Now as we lay the skull back down, I want you to use your hands to pick the back of the skull up, release, and then place it back down. Now we're going to take the heel of the hands down to where the hip bones are, the pelvic bones, and then just slide them to where the pelvis meets the thigh bones. What we're going to do is a similar action to what we've just done with the head, the exhale to push. And when you're ready, we're going to press the back of the pelvis down into the mat on your exhale. And you're going to inhale, release. Exhale, push. I'm thinking of trying to imprint the back of my pelvis into the floor. So I'm not allowing my pelvis to tip forwards or backwards as I do this. It's just imprinting down. So abdominals are engaging. And these kind of presses that we're doing is almost the same sensation that we want to get to activate the deep abdominal muscles when we do any of our Pilates exercises. Now we're going to tip our pelvis to the right, do the same thing, so press the right side of the pelvis straight down to activate the obliques. And last 2. And 1. And then over to the left. Or the other side, and press and release. So this class is almost like there's not much going on, but we're really going to feel the benefits for just loosening up the head, the neck, the shoulders, the spine. So as we come back to center, we're going to take a deep breath in, and I want you to use the push of your hands to think of trying to push your thigh bones down. Now as this happens, you might notice how the pelvis very, very slightly tips forwards. The tailbone may drop, but that's only because I'm pushing with my hands. And then release. Now we've got lots of muscles around the hips that attach to the sacrum, the back of the pelvis. So what this is doing is really using the strength of our arms to open up. And release. So we're trying to keep that heaviness of the spine, just using the push of the arms, so trying to find the pelvic bones, heel of the hands, over the pelvic bones in the squishy part and push the thigh bones away. We're just going to do 2 more. And still feeling that the crown of the head is reaching oppositionally to the way that we're pushing with our hands. Last one. And then release. Now just take a very gentle rock side to side. And we're just releasing the back of the pelvis, the thigh bones, And then we're going to come back to center. And just take a moment to assess the body again. So feel free to close your eyes, adjust anything that you might need to. Find your natural breath. Is it in the belly? Is it in the ribs? And how does your body maybe feel different to the start of the class? So again, just observing, changing anything. And then we're going to begin to make our way back up. So gently rolling to one side. And using your arm to push back up. And just sitting in a comfortable position now. So feet forwards or cross your legs in any way. And how does your body feel upright? Definitely feel a little bit taller after that. You may not, and that's okay. And we're just going to take a deep breath in. And breathe out. And one more time. And thank you very much for joining me today. So I hope you feel a little bit more relaxed in your body and your mind, and also a little bit freer throughout your body. So if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch, or any requests for videos. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and press the bell icon for future notifications. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.